Have you ever stopped to think about how you know the world? How do you know a flower is red? How do you know a song is happy or sad? The answer is simple. It is through your senses. Your senses are like 5 open windows. They let the outside world come into your brain. Without them, you would be locked inside your own mind, unable to experience anything at all. Your brain is a dark, silent place. It needs information. Your senses are the messengers that bring that information. They are your personal connection to everything that exists outside of you. Bright sun in the sky, soft blanket on your bed. Your 5 main senses are sight, hearing, touch, taste, smell. Each one has a special job to do. Think about your morning. You wake up because you hear an alarm clock. That is your sense of hearing. You open your eyes and see sunlight coming through the window. That is your sense of sight. You get out of bed and your feet feel the cold floor. That is your sense of touch. You brush your teeth and taste the minty toothpaste. That is your sense of taste. You walk into the kitchen and smell coffee brewing. That is your sense of smell. In just the first few minutes of your day, you have already used all 5 of your senses to navigate and understand your environment. They are the essential tools that allow you to live a full and rich life. In this essay, we will explore each of these amazing senses. We will look at how they work in a very simple way. We will learn about the body parts involved and how they send signals to your brain. We will also talk about why it is so important to protect these precious gifts. Your senses shape every single moment of your existence, from the simplest pleasures to the most important warnings. Understanding them is the first step toward appreciating them and taking care of them for a lifetime of wonderful experiences. Let's, begin this journey into the incredible world of your senses and discover how they build your reality. Your sense of sight is often considered the most powerful of all the senses. It allows you to see the faces of people you love, the beauty of a sunset, the words on this page. How does it work? It all starts with your eyes. Your eyes are like small, amazing cameras. The front part of your eye focuses light. Cornea. Lens. Light enters through a small hole called the pupil. The colored part, the iris, controls how big the pupil is. In bright light, it makes the pupil smaller to let less light in. In the dark, it makes the pupil bigger to let more light in, helping you see better. At the very back of your eye is a thin layer called the retina. The retina is like the film in a camera, or like the sensor in a digital camera. It is covered with millions of tiny light-sensing cells. 2 main types: rods, cones. Rods are very good at seeing in low light, but they do not see color. They help you see shapes and movement in the dark. Cones are responsible for seeing color. Red cone, green cone, blue cone. Your brain mixes signals from these 3 cones to create all the colors you see. When light hits rods and cones, it creates a tiny electrical signal. This signal is like a secret message. These messages travel from your eye to your brain through the optic nerve. The optic nerve is a bundle of more than 1 million nerve fibers. It connects the back of your eye to the visual cortex at the back of your brain. This journey is incredibly fast, a fraction of a second. Your brain receives these signals and begins putting them together. In the visual cortex, your brain acts like a supercomputer. It interprets light. It interprets color. It interprets shape. The lens projects the world upside down on the retina. Your brain flips the image. Your brain compares new information to memories and experiences. Recognize a face. Read a word. Know a round red object is an apple. Your sense of hearing connects you to the world through sound. It lets you enjoy music, listen to a friend's voice, hear important warnings like a fire alarm. The journey of sound begins with your ears. They have 3 main parts: the outer ear, the middle ear, the inner ear. The outer ear works like a funnel. It collects sound waves and directs them down the ear canal. At the end of the ear canal is the eardrum, a thin piece of skin stretched tight like a drum. Sound waves hit it, and the eardrum vibrates. Those vibrations travel to the middle ear. The middle ear is a small, air-filled space containing 3 tiny bones. Their names: the hammer, the anvil, the stirrup. The bones are linked together like a chain. Eardrum vibrates, Hammer moves, anvil moves, stirrup moves. The bones amplify the vibrations, making them stronger before passing them on. This transfers energy from air into the fluid-filled inner ear. The stirrup pushes on a small window into the inner ear. The cochlea is a spiral-shaped, fluid-filled tube, the main hearing organ. It looks like a tiny snail shell. Inside are thousands of microscopic hair cells. Stirrup vibrations make the cochlear fluid move in waves. Those waves make the hair cells bend. Bending hair cells transforms vibrations into electrical signals. These electrical signals are the final message. They travel from the cochlea along the auditory nerve, a big cable of nerves. The signals reach the auditory cortex in the brain. Your brain interprets these signals as different sounds. It can tell high pitches and low pitches based on which hair cells were activated. It can tell loudness by how many hair cells were activated. When I was a young man, I worked a summer job at a construction site to save money for college. The work was hard, but the environment was exciting. There were loud machines everywhere. Saws cutting through wood, hammers banging on metal, large engines roaring to life. At the time, I did not think much about the noise. I was young and felt invincible, like nothing could harm me. None of us wore ear protection. It just was not something we talked about or considered important. We would shout over the noise to hear each other and end each day with our ears ringing. One evening, after a particularly loud day of using a power saw for hours, I went home and noticed something was wrong. The ringing in my ears did not stop. It was a constant, high-pitched ee sound that was quiet but always there. At first, I thought it would just go away by the next morning, as it usually did. But it didn't. Days turned into weeks, and the ringing was still there. I went to see a doctor, who explained that the loud noise had damaged some of the delicate hair cells inside my cochlea. Those cells were permanently damaged and would never recover. The ringing, called tinnitus, was something I would likely have to live with forever. That experience taught me a very important lesson about protecting my senses. The damage was done, and it was irreversible. From that day forward, I became extremely careful. I started wearing earplugs or protective earmuffs whenever I was around loud noises, whether it was at a concert using a lawnmower or even just riding on a loud subway train. I also learned to be more mindful of my other senses. I started wearing sunglasses on bright days to protect my eyes from strong UV light. Your sense of touch is your largest sense. It is not located in one place like your eyes or ears. It is spread all over your body through your skin. Your skin is your body's biggest organ, and it is filled with millions of tiny nerve endings called receptors. These receptors are your connection to the physical world. They allow you to feel a gentle breeze. They allow you to feel the warmth of the sun. They allow you to feel the pain of a cut. They allow you to feel the comforting pressure of a hug from a loved one. Without the sense of touch, you would not be able to interact with your environment in a meaningful or safe way. There are different types of touch receptors, and each one is specialized to detect a different kind of sensation. Some receptors detect light pressure, like the feeling of clothes against your skin. Others detect heavy pressure, like when you are leaning against a wall. There are also special receptors for pain, and receptors for temperature, which tell you if something is hot or cold. These receptors are not spread evenly across your body. Places like your fingertips have many more receptors. Lips have many more receptors, which is why they are so sensitive compared to your back. When you touch something, these receptors are activated. For example, if you pick up a piece of ice, the cold receptors in your fingertips send an immediate electrical signal. This signal is like a tiny bolt of lightning that travels up your arm, through your spinal cord, and all the way to your brain. This happens incredibly fast, in just milliseconds. Your spinal cord can sometimes react even before the message reaches your brain, which is called a reflex. This is why you might, pull your hand away from a hot stove before you even consciously feel the pain. Your sense of taste allows you to enjoy the delicious flavors of food and drinks. It also serves as a protective sense, helping you identify spoiled or poisonous substances that you should not eat. The main organ for taste is your tongue. If you look closely at your tongue in a mirror, you will see that it is covered in tiny bumps. These bumps are called papillae, and inside most of them are your taste buds. An adult has thousands of taste buds, located not just on the tongue, on the roof of the mouth, in the back of the throat. Each taste bud contains about 50 to 100 specialized taste receptor cells. For a long time, people believed in a taste map on the tongue, suggesting that you taste sweet things on the tip and sour things on the sides. We now know this is not true. You can actually taste all the basic tastes all over your tongue. There are 5 primary tastes that your taste buds can detect: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, umami. Umami is a savory or meaty flavor found in things like aged cheese, mushrooms, soy sauce. When you put food in your mouth, your saliva helps to break it down. Chemicals from the food dissolve in your saliva and then enter your taste buds through tiny openings called taste pores. Once inside, these chemicals bind to the taste receptor cells. This binding action triggers an electrical signal. For example, sugar molecules will bind to the sweet receptors, salt crystals will activate the salty receptors. This is the very first step in the process of your brain understanding what it is you are eating. These electrical signals travel from the taste buds to your brain through several different cranial nerves. The brain then processes these signals in an area called the gustatory cortex. However, what we perceive as flavor is much more complex than just these 5 basic tastes. Your brain combines the information from your taste buds with information from your sense of smell. This is why food seems to have no flavor when you have a stuffy nose from a cold. The temperature and texture of the food, detected by your sense of touch, also play a huge role in the overall experience of flavor. Also known as olfaction, is one of your most ancient and powerful senses. It can alert you to dangers, smoke from a fire-spoiled food, and it can also trigger strong emotions, vivid memories. The process of smelling begins high up inside your nose. When you breathe in, tiny molecules from things in the environment, a flour baking bread, float into your nostrils. They travel up to a small patch of special tissue located in the roof of each nasal cavity. This area is called the olfactory epithelium. This patch of tissue is packed with millions of specialized olfactory receptor neurons. These are the nerve cells that detect smells. Each receptor neuron has tiny hairs, called cilia, that are coated in a thin layer of mucus. As the odor molecules dissolve in this mucus, they bind to specific receptors on the cilia, much like a key fitting into a lock. Humans have about 400 different types of these olfactory receptors. Different combinations of these receptors are activated by different smells. Scent of rain, smell of a lemon. When an odor molecule binds to a receptor, it generates an electrical signal. This signal is then sent directly up to a structure in the brain called the olfactory bulb. The olfactory bulb sits right at the front of your brain, just above your nasal cavity. It acts as a relay station. It collects all the signals from the receptor neurons and starts to organize them into a coherent pattern. This pattern is essentially the brain's representation of that specific smell. The olfactory bulb then forwards this information to other parts of the brain for further processing. What makes the sense of smell so unique is its direct connection to the parts of the brain that handle memory and emotion. The signals from the olfactory bulb travel to the amygdala, the hippocampus. This is why a particular scent can instantly transport you back in time to a specific moment, or make you feel a sudden wave of happiness or sadness. Your senses are your constant companions. They are the tools you use to build your understanding of the world. From the moment you wake up until you fall asleep, your eyes see the light, your ears hear the sounds, your skin feels the world, your tongue tastes the flavors, your nose smells the memories. Each sense is a biological marvel, a complex system of receptors and nerves, working in perfect harmony with your brain. They work so effortlessly it's easy to take them for granted. Protecting these precious gifts is one of the most important things you can do. The good news? Protecting them is simple. For your sight, wear sunglasses that block UV rays. Take regular breaks from screens, the 20-20-20 rule. For your hearing, avoid exposure to loud noises. Wear earplugs at concerts or when using loud machinery. Keep your headphone volume at a safe level. Protect your skin. Wear sunscreen. Be mindful when handling hot objects or sharp tools. To keep taste and smell sharp, avoid smoking. Eat a healthy, balanced diet to support your senses. These are small investments in your future quality of life. Your world is defined by what you can sense. By taking simple steps, you keep your window to the world open and vibrant. Start today. Pick one small thing and make it a habit. What is your favorite way to enjoy a sense? Listening to a favorite album, savoring a delicious meal, watching a beautiful sunset. Share your experiences and tips in the comments. If you found this helpful, please subscribe and share with a friend. Check the pinned comment. I shared my favorite tip from this video. Reply with yours so we all learn together. Now let's try a simple exercise to practice using one of your senses more mindfully. This exercise is for your sense of hearing. It will help you notice the rich world of sound around you. You can do this exercise anywhere, at home, in an office, on a park bench. It only takes a minute or two and can help you feel more present. The goal is not to judge the sounds, but simply to notice them. First, find a comfortable position. Sit down or lie down. Close your eyes. Closing your eyes removes visual distractions and lets you focus on hearing. Take a slow, deep breath in and let it out. Now, just listen. For the next minute, your only job is to notice every sound you can hear. Do not try to label them at first. Just let the sounds come to you. Pay attention to the raw sensations of sound entering your ears. Now, start to identify the sounds. What is the closest sound you can hear? Your breathing, the soft hum of a computer, the hum of a refrigerator, your clothes rustling. Next, expand your awareness. What sounds are a little farther away? People talking in another room, footsteps in a hallway. Listen for a clock ticking on the wall or water running through pipes. Finally, listen for the most distant sounds you can perceive. Cars driving by outside, a faint siren in the distance, birds chirping outside your window.